Fear grips the village. The people whisper, but no one has answers. The guilty cannot sleep, for the ancestors will not let them rest. And the question on every tongue is the same: who has dared to commit an abomination? But listen carefully, for by the end of this tale, you will see how terror and chaos were unleashed upon Òkè-Òdan. By sunrise, the rumor had spread like wildfire. Children clung to their mothers, their small hands trembling with fear. Even the market women, once known for their chatter and laughter, were silent. Each minded her own business, avoiding the eyes of her neighbor. The marketplace, once alive with color and noise, now lay scattered and still. Silence hung over Òkè-Òdan, the silence that carried the heavy weight of unspoken secret. Later in the day, the king summoned his chiefs and elders into the palace. The air was heavy, the people silent. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the throne. The king spoke with a voice that carried both anger and fear. What happened last night is no ordinary thing. The drum of our ancestors has spoken. Such things do not happen without reason. Something sacred has been touched. The chiefs shifted uneasily. Then the oldest elder raised his staff and said, "Kábíyèsí o, our fathers told us this long ago, when the great hunter Odetedo walked this land. The spirits themselves followed him. To understand today, we must return to his story." The palace grew silent. Even the youngest servant leaned closer to hear. Many years ago, Odetedo was a hunter feared by animals and respected by men. His strength was unmatched. With his bow and spear, he killed lions, leopards, and even the mighty buffalo. But he was not a man who stayed in one place. Odetedo traveled across many forests and rivers, searching for a land strong enough to shelter his people. At last, he came to a vast plain, surrounded by hills and tall trees. He stood with his wives and 8 children and declared, "This is our new land. From here, our children will grow and our name will never die." That was how Òkè-Òdan was born. When Odetedo died many years later, the land shook with sorrow. The people buried him with honor, and in the treasure house they kept his hunting clothes, made from leopard skin and decorated with cowries. Beside them lay ornaments, cowries, and spoils from battles won. But above all, one thing was placed there: the talking drum. For the drum was not just an instrument, it was the guardian of Odetedo's spirit. The elders whispered, "Agbára ń bẹ nínú aṣọ Odetedo. Power rests in the clothes of Odetedo." They said that when the new moon rose, his spirit would rise too, wearing the clothes, walking silently through the land, watching over his people. As the chiefs listened, their hearts grew heavy. The king then spoke again. If the drum has spoken, then we must ask ourselves, has anyone dared to touch the treasure of Odetedo? A cold wind blew through the palace. The chiefs exchanged fearful glances, but none could speak. And in that silence, it felt as if the ghost of Odetedo himself was standing among them, listening, waiting. But in that heavy silence, the truth was already crawling through the village like fire on dry leaves. The drum had spoken, the ancestors had stirred, and the guilty could no longer hide. By the time the moon rose again, Òkè-Òdan would know that some treasures are not to be touched, and some ghosts are never meant to be awakened. If you've enjoyed this story, don't forget to follow and share.